Exciting.
Creative.
Fantastic.
Courageous.
Performative.
Eclectic.
Exciting.
Fun. My full name is Therese Monberg. I'm an assistant professor in the residential college in the arts and humanities. I'm also a core faculty member in the graduate program here in rhetoric and writing and an affiliated faculty in Asian and Pacific American studies, but my main appointment is here. Similarities would be, wow, that was a long time ago. At Kansas is where I started to get interested in the things I'm interested that I've been able to really kind of launch in very more full-blown experimental ways here. So at Kansas I taught this course called Radical Educators, and we looked at the Western tradition of education and Western philosophies of education and juxtaposed that with sort of critical pedagogies and other kinds of pedagogies. And I had students look at assumptions underlying these educational philosophies and what that would mean, and it was just really fun to help students think about what it means to get an education through that kind of intellectual content. And I would get a lot of students, I was working with honors students there too, and I would get a lot of students who were going into education, so it was really fascinating the projects they would come up with. I had a student working with an urban debate league in Kansas City. I had another student who was doing music education who studied the curriculum teachers were doing, and so I was starting to see how you can think about what it means to get an education and look at what's going on and theorize it and go out into the world, and it just really started to bring some things together for me. The thing that's different about the RCAH for me is the opportunity to do a lot of interdisciplinary work. For example, the first year I was here, I taught a first-year seminar on globalization, and we looked at the Philippines as, because you know my area is Filipino American Studies, we looked at the Philippines as, for lack of a better word, a case study, or not a case study. We looked at how globalization has impacted the Philippines. And the way we looked at it was through multiple lenses. We looked at history, we looked at art, we looked at poetry, we looked at fiction, we looked at sociology studies of children who did interviews with children, and then students did multiple things with their projects. And maybe this is one of the interesting differences with the RCAH is the way that you can have students do projects that are kind of multimodal in nature rather than just writing papers. Because in an English department, that's mostly what we do, right? We write papers. And although some of them are getting into websites and things like that, I think the RCAH really allows us to take a full advantage of what that multimodal composition might look like. So that's kind of exciting.